Hello, Geordie Scaper here, and welcome to the second installment of this series of videos which is all about this dual Rio 180. If you haven't seen the first video, I'll leave a link at the end of this video and also in the description. And the first video was all about the hardscaping process, so we'll take that step by step, how I created the hardscape, which is behind me here. So this video is all about the planting, getting it filled and up and running. And on the way, I'll give you some hints and tips on planting, preparing plants, all that sort of thing. So if you enjoy this type of content, aquarium builds, please give this video a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing to help me out get my videos found. So that's enough of that. Let's get on with it. And the first thing I'm going to do is prepare all the plants. So let's go. On to preparing plants. Some handy tools to have are some scissors, some pincets, tweezers, and a bucket of water. I've got some examples of different plants you can buy. So we've got in vitro or tissue culture, which are lab grown plants. This one is in a gel, as you can see there. And this one is in a liquid. So you'll see the two different types of tissue cultured plants. And we've got the regular potted, which is in rock wool. So I'll show you how to prepare these type of plants. So we'll start with this moss, which is in like a gel type solution. So we're just going to remove the plant, and you can see there, that's the gel it comes in, and that gives the plant its nutrients while it's in its little pot. So we want rid of that, so we'll just use water. Just give it a good rinse in the water. Remove as much of that gel as possible. That's about it. So that's the moss prepared. So we'll just put that aside for now. The other tissue culture, which is the liquid. This plant is Halanthum tenellum green. So we'll take this out. That's the liquid. We'll get rid of that liquid. Give it a bit of a rinse out. So that's that plant. We're just going to split it and divide this into portions. So this should roll out. So this plant sends off runners, and that's how you get the carpet effect. So it's a bit like bamboo. A bamboo plant shoots out runners, and that's where the new plant develops from. So there you see it. We're going to split it into portions. Just use your fingers for this. So there's one portion. You could divide that again if you wanted. You might want to get rid of some of the older, not so healthy growth. Here's the second portion. Here's the third. As long as you've got a few leaves, because when you plant this, the roots obviously go in your substrate, and as long as a couple of leaves shown, they're going to get some light and will grow and develop from there. So I think I've got about 11 portions out of that plant. So now we'll go on to a regular potted plant. This is Echinodorus ocelot green. So all you do with this, just squeeze that pot there, take that out, get rid of the pot, and just divide this rock wool. So this is where the nutrients are for this, for the potted plant. So I want rid of this rock wool. So you just split that apart. Give it a rinse in the water, make it a bit easier for you. Sometimes nearly all comes out, but if there's any stubborn parts, just use your tweezers and just clear the rest of the rock wool out. Some plants are more difficult than others. This one's not too bad because it's got thick roots. So you might have to spend a bit more time getting rid of that rock wool. But this one's been a joy. It looks like I could actually divide this into two as well. If I want, I could break this up, but I think I'm going to keep it as a one for now. But if you want to do, you would just gently ease that apart, and then you'll have two portions out of that one pot. Like I said, I'm going to leave that for one for now. Give it a quick rinse, and that's good to go. If you find the roots are too long, you can just, nice sharp scissors, cut the bottom. That makes it easier to plant, but also cutting of that root will stimulate new growth. Any leaves that are looking particularly unhealthy, again, sharp scissors, go to the base of the leaf and cut that away. And just left with the healthiest leaves. So there you go, that's how you prepare plants, either tissue culture with liquid or tissue culture with a gel or potted plants. So that's all the plants prepared. That took us about 20 minutes, so got everything sorted. This is moss, so I've just put the moss on a plate covered in cling film. And it's important to keep the plants wet, so once you've prepped them and you know you're going to be a while, just give everything a good soak. You can cover with cling wrap or use tissue paper and just soak the tissue, the kitchen roll sort of thing, and that'll keep them nice and moist so they don't dry out before you come to use them. But that's that done, all prepared. You don't have to do this, you can just prepare as you go, but I prefer to have everything prepped, and it's a good little tip to keep the labels of the plant you've got next to them, so you know exactly what you're planting, where you're going to plant, because you'll need to know that for if it's a mid foreground plant. Let's get on with it. So the first thing I'm going to do is give everything a good soak. I just find it easier to plant, so you can either use something like this and just give everything a fine spray all the soil, all the wood down, or actually I've got a hose with the fine spray, so I'm going to use this because it's quicker. So the first plant I've got here is Echinodorus barthai, I think it's pronounced. So what I'm going to do, using thicker pincet types, with it being a bigger root, is just grab it by the roots and find the spot. So I'm going to put it just here and get that nice and deep. You want it nice and deep because with them being quite large leaves, it's quite buoyant. What I've done in the past with Echinodorus, I've planted them too close together. Bear in mind this is a rosette plant, so it'll get a spread of around 20 to 30 centimeters. So we'll have to bear that in mind, give it enough room to grow, and that way it'll grow to its full potential. So I'm not going to squash up the loads together. So that's a nice little spot for it there. It's got room to grow either side. So that's that done. I'll come to the other side. This one is Echinodorus Fancy Twist, it's called. So nice big leaf one, and these are the taller ones I'm planting first. So these are going in the back. So again, giving it enough space for the spread. Take a bit from the sides, I'm going to place it around there. Nice and deep. Sticking to the same side around about this spot. This one is Echinodorus Cordifolus frutans, I think it's called. Obviously I'll be overlaying the names of them so you know what's what. So I think about there, because the roots will just spread underneath the wood, so we'll go around about here. Another tip for you as well, if you worry about them floating, if you've got any soil spare, you can just pour some dry soil over the plant, so you know you've got a bit more above the roots. So on the opposite side, next to the barthai, I've got another Echinodorus Fancy Twist. So a little bit of space for that. Nothing about there. You can see how much easier it is once the soil's really soaked through. Because if it's just wet on the surface, once you get a little bit further underneath, the soil's dry and it's harder to plant. So that's why it's had a right good soak. Makes things so much easier. In this spot here, although this plant looks quite large at the minute, it's called Echinodorus aquatica. It is a smaller, a medium type Echinodorus species, so as much as it looks tall now, once it adapts underwater and starts growing, it will be a bit more small and compact. So I'm going to put this one just here. Nice and deep. This is Echinodorus Sunset, and this is opposite. Although it looks small and clustered at the moment, it will grow quite tall eventually. So I'm going to place this one around about, I think I'm going to go here. So plant that there. This is Echinodorus Ocelot Red. Love this plant, love it. Used it many times. This one is Echinodorus Ocelot Green, another gorgeous plant. Colour wise, because this is low tech, we're going to have slightly lower levels of light. We're not injecting CO2. I don't know how the colours will turn out, because colour wise you get more red, purple, dark brown leaves with higher levels of light, and some may go red, some may not. I'm not 100% sure on that, so again we'll just let nature take its course, see how it turns out throughout the weeks. But that's the exciting part, and that's why I'm going to give you regular updates to show you how this is developing, and we'll keep an eye for the colours and what plant's growing the quickest, what's established itself, all that sort of thing. So we've got all the Echinodorus species planted, and now what I'm going to do is have a line here to the back and probably about there. That's going to be for the Halanthum tenellum green. And I've got some taller grass-like plants, which is Sagittaria sabulata. Well, I'm hoping it stays tall. I've gotten some cuttings off somebody, so we'll place that here and there in between the Echinodorus species on both sides. Let's do it. Here I'm just covering up some of the obvious glue marks with moss. Just gently press it. So that's all the planting done. I just carried on off camera just attaching the moss because I thought it would be a bit boring you watching that. So what I've done is just stick moss to thick parts of the wood. I didn't want it on the thin branches. So some of the thicker parts, firstly hiding anywhere where I've actually attached the wood to the stone with the white tissue paper. I wasn't going to add moss, but I thought with this type of scape especially, it'll look really natural, and with it being Java moss, it will actually grow in low energy setup, so hopefully it looks okay. Just keep it on top of the maintenance and keep it nice and tight, and it shouldn't look too crazy. So yeah, I'll fill her up and get back to you soon. While this is filling, what I'll do, I'll transfer over the filter from next door's tank to this tank, which has been running while I've been setting this one up. So it's all mature media in there, which should help the plants. And yeah, so I'll do that now, just transfer them over. Well, that was easy. So like I say, I've just transferred, that's where it was running, so that was its side, just had the netting out right there. Running to keep the media mature, as I was saying earlier, so then a quick swap over to this side. How easy, that's a good thing, we're having two tanks that are similar next to each other. Intake, which is from the Awaze, this is actually an Awaze Biomass Thermos 600 on this one. I'll do a video in the coming weeks and we'll have a deep dive into the equipment I'm using on this setup, so we'll save that for another video. Well, disaster. As much as I thought I had secured it all, look, it happens to the best of it. It's floated. Nightmare. What I'll do, I'll just get some stones to keep this down temporarily, so let's do it. Okay, so I promised I'd share the whole journey and yeah, this happens. It's hot. It's happened to me on the occasions where I thought everything was secure on its float, but I'll sort it out. But what I've done, I've drained it, I'm going to swap the filter back over at the other tank again, run that overnight. I'll try and sort a little bit out the night, but now I'm a bit annoyed and I can't be bothered. So I'm just going to cling film it for the night. I'll come back tomorrow with a fresh head and sort it out, and yeah. So I'll keep you updated, guys. I'm going to come back to this tomorrow. It's now the day after and I couldn't go to sleep on it. So as you've seen, I had drained it and I ended up filling it after securing it as best I can with the stones. So the problem was where I had actually glued to the glass. When I had filled, it just come away from there, so that didn't really work. It did on this side, but not on that side. It didn't totally float to the top, it just come off the bottom of the tank about that much. So I did my best to position everything where it was and place some stones till that wood soaks through. Once the wood soaks through, I know it's not going to float. I'll actually come back and try and secure as best I can. I might have to add more stones and lay some stones on the wood, etc. But we'll see. But for now, it's sorted. Everything's up and running, so I'm happy about that. And I'll just do the water changes. So there's not much to really show you because it does look a bit ugly, as you can see, with the stones lying on top. So it's probably best if I wait a couple of weeks. Like I was saying, make sure that wood soaks through. It's not going to float, and I'll give you an update video, show you how it's looking properly. So that's it for part 2. Watch out for part 3. And remember, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, subscribe, hit that like button for future updates on this tank, plus lots of other aquascape related content. So thanks for watching, guys. Till next video, see you later.